Get to the chopper!
You know what you are? You're one of those little fancy lads, aren't you?
Link and I are cruising the mountain, bro, and we figured we'd squeeze a little juice.
Welcome, everybody, to another Q's and Tease episode. Joined by Sean this week in advance of our teaser interview with Peter. How's it going, Sean?
Hey, good. I'm getting set to get gooted.
Yeah, you are.
You need to get gooted every now and again.
Oh, big time. We're a couple hours from a Wolves playoff game. Are you jazzed?
I mean, I've been hurt before.
Oh,
As someone who knows pain in the cities that they've lived in with sports teams. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is, Wolves, I think, last won a playoff series, maybe 2004.
Yeah, it's 04.
When they went to the Western Conference Finals and were somehow able to contain Shaq, Kobe in a pivotal game 6, and then ended up losing to somebody named Kareem Rush, who hit, I think, 5 fourth-quarter threes. Uh-huh. And that was the closest the Wolves have ever been to the NBA Finals. But from then till now, it's been 20 years of just abysmal disappointment with this team.
And even before that, I mean, that's the only year they even won a playoff series, right?
Yeah. Even before that.
Playing notwithstanding. Playing doesn't
count.
Yeah,
we had, 15 or 16 years of existence be the same type of abyss. So my hopes are tempered by the history and the love that I've given this team over the years. I will say this, Josh. Ready for a bold statement?
Yeah.
If the Wolves can't get out of the first round of this playoffs, if they can't beat the Suns, I'm not talking about or watching the Wolves next year.
That seems...
I can't do it again.
Seems like a lot. There's a lot of fucking talent on this team.
There is. Win a fucking playoff series.
Yeah.
You want to lose to Denver or OKC or whoever else? Fine.
We're recording this before game 2. Game 1, I was worried going into game 1 because they had been trounced by the Suns in all 3 matchups. And the second to last Suns game was honestly the worst I've seen the Wolves all year.
Booker's going to go off.
He's bound to, yeah.
Beal could go off. I mean, Durant somehow, I can't believe the shots that he hit sometimes. He's
he's unguardable and he's going to be good for 30. Like, it's really just, they have no one past their big 3. And so if you can only have one of the big 3 go off and contain the other 2, you might be able to win if you're the Wolves.
Win a playoff series.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I've checked out for 15 years.
Like they should. And then, okay, I'll accept whatever comes after that. But if they can't beat the Suns in a 7-game series with home court advantage, with health on their side, with this team, I'm fucking done for a year. I can't do it. Mark my words.
Yeah. Anyway, we do have some podcast business to take care of.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully game 2 goes well.
This isn't a sports podcast. Okay, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. People are probably maybe marginally interested in that. We've got a couple more Apple Podcast reviews that we've gotten. Kay, our guest in the first pair of episodes, gave us 5 stars and said, "Delightful. The boys of Munch My Benson plus Sean bring you another wildly entertaining podcast diving deep within your psyche to ruin your childhood cinematic memories, full of nostalgia and references only true cinephiles will understand." Yeah. Thanks.
Well, on that note, Kay can come back.
Yeah. Thanks, Kay.
Prior to that review, I think all of us were like, that's a wrap on Kay. We weren't excited about bringing her back, but now after that, she's redeemed herself. So Kay is welcome. Welcome back.
Obviously, that's a joke, Kay. I should probably say Cocoon will be the first one that Adam's not on. Mm-hmm. Being a dad is hard.
Yeah, I mean, we're not dads, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll bring Adam back on something down the road.
There's definitely another one that we have in the can that will drop at some point.
He does bring a lot. He's got quite the mind, and especially for something like this. I think more people more straight white men and podcasting could be a bad thing.
Yep.
But Adam somehow brings so much to the table that he eclipses that stereotype.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where just, life is busy for him. So
Yeah, if it works out, it works out.
yeah, absolutely. We've got another Apple Podcast review. This is from Tim Yobo, who I know to be the co-host of Bloody Bits, which is the reason that I have seen Butt Boy, which is awesome. Great movie. He said, I'm enjoying the trip down memory lane. Great premise for a show, but as always, it's really the host that makes you want to listen. Come for the nostalgia, stay for the hosts. I'm also looking forward to someone picking Caligula. 5 stars.
Wow. Someone had to say it.
Caligula.
I don't even know. I mean, does Caligula...
Sean and I saw Caligula together in the theater.
Look, this is primarily a podcast for the movies that we grew up with.
We were only 19 when we saw it?
Yeah, we were not yet men, certainly. That was a very transformative experience.
Yes, we also saw it with someone who we reached out to and is not contractually allowed to appear on unapproved podcasts. The media company that he works for has to have approved a podcast first. So
let me ask you this. Has that person returned to the United States since watching Caligula?
Yes, I've seen him since.
Okay.
When we were in LA, he was there for the Oscars.
Okay.
Because they had a short that was nominated.
I would feel bad if that was...
I've seen him a few times, actually. I saw him a few times when we were still in LA.
Okay, good. So that wasn't a severencing experience.
No. That wasn't the thing that soured him on the United States.
I would be really surprised if a guest grew up with Caligula. So we will never say never, of course.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, we need to get into it.
There's no way someone didn't see it at 15, sneaking a copy somewhere.
That's going to be the episode that Adam needs to come back for.
Oh, yeah, especially...
He'll just know.
Yeah, he'll be able to sense it. But, I mean, it's not like I'm not recording with him all the time on the other thing. We did get another couple 5-star ratings on podcasts, so thanks, listeners, and please keep them coming. After the pre-interview episode with Chad dropped on Blue Sky, Gopher Balls said Firstborn was one of the movies that I got excited to see from the trailer, but it never opened in my town.
Yep.
Others included The Lady in White and A Christmas Story. Looking forward to the tight 5 on proper locker room etiquette.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, head balls feet. Then after the main event, he said this was fun. Firstborn was like E.T., but if E.T. was RoboCop and slept with a blonde mom, did Coke instead of Coca-Cola, and tried to make the kids' bike fly through the air in a completely different manner.
I mean, there is some magical kind of power that E.T. has that has a kind of intoxicating effect on the people around him.
Yeah, and so does...
Dee Wallace certainly does not take to E.T. the way that she takes to Peter Weller.
No.
The way that Terry Garr takes Peter Weller. But yeah, as far as that's a really interesting swap.
Yeah.
If you could move Peter Weller into E.T. and E.T. into Firstborn.
Both would be terrifying in that scenario.
See him coming down the stairs and meeting the kids for breakfast?
Yeah.
And your mom.
His fingers glowing for a different reason.
Oh, boy. I knew something. One of us had to say it.
Yeah. Is his heart light lower?
He is glowing a different spot.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting creeped out by us.
Okay, then got some more feedback in non-traditional ways. My mom emailed saying, maybe if you got more of my peers on the show, I'd listen. Do one, leave it to Beaver.
Wow.
Leave It to Beaver's not a movie, Mom.
Yeah, I'll let you respond to her.
Yeah.
I'll tell her that we need to do movies. I'm not opposed to that, though. Somebody from her generation coming on the show. I think that'd be interesting.
I mean, do we really want boomers infiltrating every part of our lives and taking everything over? They already own everything.
Maybe we can go somebody from a little bit older.
Yeah. I want octogenarians.
Let's get the Greatest Generation.
Yeah.
They didn't even have video stores. They had to do the work. And see a movie,
but they could go sit at the movie theater the whole day and watch the movie over and over and over. One ticket bought you entry for the whole day. So
there you go.
So if any of you grew up with that sort of scenario, or maybe your grandparents did, and they're still alive and want to talk about, I don't know, fucking Wizard of Oz when they saw it in the theater in 1939, have them reach out. we'll have them on.
Yeah.
You'll have to
Happy-
be their tech support and help them.
Yeah, and also their power of attorney in case something happens.
Yes, yeah, we could traumatize them pretty badly. So be careful. Then for the sake of protecting anonymity, we'll call the next one Gibson. But he said, I think I counted 5 references to Bubba from Mama's Family. That was in the Night of the Creeps episode.
It was all you.
Yeah, that was all me. He said, nice work. You're one of like 3 people that I think are funny. In all honesty, the premise for the show is a great idea. Like a really good idea. Keep up the good work. I'm proud of you. Then, sorry, I burned my bridges. Burn my bridges is cutting out some of the specificity of what happened. Otherwise, you'd have Taylor Swift as a guest. Now you'll have to settle for the guy who watches shows with volume on full blast on the shitter at work.
We were so close to Taylor.
I know, so close. Taylor, if you want to come on, we'd love to have you. Love to have you. Open invitation, Taylor Swift.
Within reason.
No, we can have her on every single week if her schedule permits.
Yeah, if it feels right that time. Like I don't want to commit to it right now.
Okay.
I just say within reason if she wants to come on.
And then last one, Joe Biden said, "What's a podcast?"
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ask Corn Pop.
So you've got something going on this week, right? You've got work that you're...
Yeah, heading to do a stage reading at West Point that's associated with military spouses.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never been to West Point. I'm excited to head up there. I'm going to get a tour.
Are you going to be playing Ulysses S. Grant?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
So this is not... It would be like the spouse of Ulysses S. Grant.
Oh,
It's
so
all-
you're his... I can't remember his wife's name.
Henrietta or something, yeah. It would be like people kind of left behind while their spouses are overseas. And nowadays, Josh, there are a lot of men who fit that bill.
Uh-huh.
And,
Not then, though.
So,
Not in the Civil War.
No. Unless they were in drag.
Yeah. Do you think there were clingers in the Civil War?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, conscription was pretty high in the South.
Pride of Toledo, Jamie Farr.
I mean, maybe not in the North, but in the South. They pretty much were taking 12-year-olds. So they would have to have taken some clingers.
And Stephen Wright to play the concertina.
Well, one of my mom's... Oh, yeah, that's a really great reference.
Yeah.
Deep cut there. Shout out, was it One Soldier?
Yep.
Yeah. My mom kind of takes her cabin weekends in a town famous for having the youngest enlisted soldier in the Civil War. He was 12 years old.
Whoa.
Yeah. Shout out LJ, Georgia.
Anyway, everybody have fun with our discussion with Peter, where we're talking about a really horny movie for old people. But this is the pre-interview. We don't get to that
This is not
yet.
Caligula.
Yeah, this is not Caligula. Hornier, maybe. No,
way more gratuitous.
Yes. All right. Well, enjoy, everybody. Welcome everybody to another pre-interview on the Unkind Rewind, where we are sitting down with friend of the pod, Peter Johansen. Peter, since a big chunk of the audience may not know you, please introduce yourself as you'd like to be known.
Known? I was thinking about this because I've done so many things. And right now, the only thing that defines me is, well, I've been fighting cancer for a year. But I mean, I used to do stand-up comedy and improv, and I was in advertising, and I'm a carpenter, and I was a fine artist for a long time. But right now, I'm a man without a prostate. Who recently got a certificate of congratulations for completing radiation.
Nice, so, congrats!
It's my latest accomplishment.
You need to get all that on a business card.
Yeah,
your name.
Yeah,
and then everything you just said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do like being Peter Johansen, a man without a prostate. Hello, Peter Johansen, a man without a prostate.
If you could wrap it around to the back of the business card, by all means.
Well, I should get a business card that's like a cylinder, and just have it like a Horcrux? Is that what that was called?
Yeah,
like a Horcrux? Something like that?
We're always mentioning those on
The
this
Horcrux?
podcast.
Yeah. Damn it, there's the Horcrux again. That
son of
thing
a
is
bitch.
just the centerpiece of everything.
That and Matthew Broderick killing people.
Is that true?
Vehicularly, yes.
Vehicular.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mhm. Those
Matthew
always come
Broderick.
up. So, is your GoFundMe pinned on your Instagram?
It is. My GoFundMe is pinned on my Instagram.
Okay, yeah. Peter obviously is, as his most recent means of gainful employment, is carpentry, and was way too
can't
fucking
do it
sick
right
to
now.
do that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. What are your socials to share them so people can find you?
I guess I think my I shut my phone off. At Peter O. Johansen, I think, is one of
believe
them.
That is, yeah.
And then Facebook is just Peter Johansen. It's on there sometimes too.
You still on
So,
Twitter?
I am, but I use it
It's usually Peter O.
Let's see.
Johansen, right?
It's that one's actually. I think it's Dr. Jackknife Jr. I think.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
For a long time.
I'll put them. You put your socials in the show notes. It's fine.
Wait, I can tell.
I mean, that makes sense to me.
Oh
Just
wait,
to go from his name to that.
Right, there is one that's at Peter O. Johansen. That's what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, some part of it is. It's either Dr. Jackknife Johansen Jr. or I don't know, something like that.
And it's Johansen with an EN.
Johansen. Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
So you live in LA now. We knew each other from Austin and LA.
Yeah.
You grew up in the upper Midwest, though, correct?
I grew up in northwestern Wisconsin in a little town called Amory that's like an hour and a half northeast of Minneapolis. It was a very tiny town. Little culture.
Yeah.
Meaning zero culture.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Other than things like Cocoon.
Yeah, sure.
So no culture.
Exactly.
Well, it's all for old people having fun.
Which
Yeah.
ties in perfectly.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Amory's a fishing town, right? Like, I mean, it's sort of it has lakes.
Amory's
I'm
like
sure
a-
people would go there fishing. I have been fishing
Oh, yeah.
in Amory before.
I mean, it's Amory's City of Lakes is what it is called. But it's really like part
Which
of the
is
thing
funny
with
because Minneapolis is also City of Lakes.
City of Lakes.
Yeah.
Well, everything up there is area
Sure.
of
Yeah.
lakes.
Uh-huh.
Because there's those other towns around there, right? Like New Richmond,
Mhm.
which now has benefited from the new highway, so it's boomed in size. And then there's St. Croix
yeah.
Falls.
There's a huge distillery there now.
Right. And
Yeah.
and then St. Croix Falls is to the north, which is like benefited from Highway 8.
Mhm.
I mean, like people will really love all this regional, but Amory's stuck in this like valley between the middle, and there's like no reason to go to Amory. And they keep tearing down any quaintness of the town. Like there's an old fashioned water tower there. I don't know if you remember. It's like one of those old like tin cans with a steeple roof kind of thing. And a while ago there was a movie like, let's tear that down in case kids. It's like, no, it's the last thing
Yeah.
that is cute about Amory.
It's the
And
last vestige of
something.
like, quaintness. Yeah.
People keep There's a movie theater there that my best friend's family owned growing up, and people keep moving into it and trying to make a thing out of it. Like, okay, we're only gonna show old time movies on Sunday afternoon, but it's gonna be a coffee house, and it's also gonna sell books. And then like that lasts a month, and, then
That's not enough money coming in.
Yeah, what? No, that didn't boom in Amory.
I'd go there.
Sure. I don't think I would.
Books, coffee, movies.
Yeah.
But it's what kind of books? It might have even been like a Christian bookstore.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to
Hard
remember.
pass. Hard.
Remember the
pass.
culture thing?
Yeah.
Remember the culture thing? This isn't Vromans.
Yeah.
Or, the Strand or something. It's Amory.
So after Amory, you jumped around a lot. Where all of you lived?
I went from Amory to Duluth to Amory to St. Paul to Minneapolis to the Bay Area briefly, to Portland, to Los Angeles, to Austin, to Indianapolis, back to Los Angeles, and then I kind of lived in Bend for almost a year,
Yeah.
and then now I've been mostly in LA for the last decade.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, Bend was you were on a project. You still had your place in LA.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
But I was there for like 9 months.
Oh
so,
yeah. No, you were there for
It was
a long fucking time. Yeah. Because that was in the middle of us working on that pilot idea.
I was renovating a mansion all by myself. The stupidest thing ever. Like, can you remodel this mansion all alone? That should be a TV show. I did want to make a TV show one time called All by Myself. That was just showing me do really stupid things like
with Eric Carmen playing.
That I shouldn't be able to do by myself, and how I figure out how to do it by myself. Like, well, I'm going to have to build another man out of wood, and then he can hold this for me.
So the movie we're doing is Cocoon. When do you think the last time you saw Cocoon was?
It was in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know I've seen it multiple times, but I'm almost sure that it's in the 80s. I was thinking this morning about, like, because Cocoon is kind of like the filmic centerpiece of this mid-80s fascination with old people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like there's Golden Girls and there's Cocoon and Cocoon 2. And then there was that movie with Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas where they played old bank robbers or train robbers.
What is that?
And then they couldn't get it together, so they decided to have one last heist. And I mean,
it's
like,
not Tough Guys, right?
Something, yeah, that was what it was. I think
maybe that's a movie they did earlier, but I know that they got together on Tough Guys.
That sounds right, to be honest. But there was remember in
there's On Golden Pond also, which is
that's half old people.
That maybe kicked it off. That might have
it
kicked
maybe
off
did, so I think it's
the old Renaissance.
Yeah. There's also that one part of the Twilight Zone, the movie, that was the old people that would turn young at night and then go back to being old.
Yeah.
And that there was just so much old. It was really a thing.
You saw it a lot too in advertising, where a old person would be used kind of at the end of a spot doing something that the younger kids were doing in the majority of the spot.
Where's the beef? Where's the beef? Being a
Where's the beef? Person. But also like the Pepsi generation and like,
oh yeah,
you can have an old person kind of like, through clever editing,
breakdance,
skateboard, or aerobics.
Well, there's also like 18 again, and all the George Burns, old as fuck George Burns, like
right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that one. That's another one that like I remember like
it's old people wish casting they could be young again.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But then having to watch Charlie Schlatter act like he's supposed to be George Burns in his body.
Was this the Greatest Generation that we're talking about?
No, it was the parents of the Greatest Generation.
It's the Silent Generation, right?
Okay. Oh, no. It is the Greatest Generation because it was like my grandparents would have been like the star of one of these movies, so they would have been I think it is the Greatest Generation.
It's borderline. It's like old Greatest Generation, though.
They're cuspers.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. That's probably true. What did you call it?
Because they'd have been born
Silent
like
Generation?
1900. Silent Generation is the
Silent
one
movie
before,
people?
I believe. I don't know why it's called that. Probably silent movies.
Yeah, I mean, if we're mid 80s, right? And these
because
guys
Greatest
are
Generation is World War II vets, so they would have been born in the 20s, and so like a lot of what we're talking about is more like septua and octogenarians in the 80s. It'd be like Sean and my like weird micro generation, probably, where we're straddling.
Yeah, we're kind of in the middle. It's weird.
I am Generation X.
Yeah,
we're right after you
all the way.
But we're also not really millennials either. We're
not.
like that exennial micro generation.
Do you feel like your generation is more useless or
as useless as every other generation?
As the Generation X is truly, because I feel like one of the things about Generation X is like we were trained for the old world and then grew up in the new world, and it's just like I feel like everywhere I went my entire life, I saw the last act of something. Like even when I moved to Austin, I feel like I saw the last act of like what was like the cool part of Austin, and I know now it's gone.
Yeah. Oh, it's dead.
What did they do with the Daniel Johnston mural? Didn't they like?
I think the mural's still there actually.
But something happened to it,
right? They tore
like,
or someone, I don't know. Shit happened with it.
Right, yeah. It's not weird anymore.
Yeah, it's not weird.
It's condos. It's weird in a different way. It's just condos.
Yeah.
Lots of condos.
So, in the 80s, you probably would have seen this when you were, 10 the first time?
Yeah, because I think it came out in 1985, right?
It did, yeah.
yeah, so I was in 85. I was 11, but I wasn't 11 until July. So I probably saw it when I was 10 or 11. I seem to remember it being in 5th grade that I saw it. So
Was it a theater experience?
everything was a theater experience. Because my best friend his parents owned the theater. So like in the theater in Amory, we had, it was like, the theater was set up so it was like 4 seats on each side and then 2 aisles and then like 8 seats in the middle.
Uh-huh.
And all the way in the front, in the middle section, the 2 front right seats were my best friend and mine's. And I was just telling somebody about this the other day, and we would go there, and if some kids were in those seats, it would be like, get out of our seats. These are our seats. And so, like, I saw every movie in the theater, except for we were turned away from, like, one movie because his dad thought it was too graphic, and I can't think of what it was. But, yeah, it was. I saw it in the theater.
And then you said you had seen it multiple times in that decade. Was it something that found its way into your house on VHS, or was it something that you came back to?
It probably was just on cable.
Okay.
I think it was probably on like HBO or something like that, and then they played the heck out of it on, like, that would have totally been one that
Sure.
they played like crazy on HBO. Like, I feel like I remember watching it that way in our den, watching it on HBO or something. It'd be nice to go back and look at the records and see how many times HBO
Oh, a lot.
screened it in 1985. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, briefly, just a few sentences. Obviously, again, you haven't watched this since then. But just going from memory, what do you think the basic plot of the movie was?
There's alien eggs and cocoons, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
And I don't remember where they find them. And I don't remember exactly who finds them. I can't remember if, like, Steve Guttenberg is, like, I think he's, like, the scientist. But I know that they transfer them to the pool I think it's at the old folks' home. And then when the old people swim with the cocoons, they start to reverse age. And then I just remember this morning them opening the cocoons and there being, like, raisin aliens inside. Because they're sapping the aliens of their life force. Okay. And then there's some part where the aliens turn into energy and fly around the pool area. And then the old people are invited to go back to their planet with them. Because, I guess, to be young again. So,
regardless of if you're right or not, that is a terrible pitch. Imagine just walking in to the boardroom. You're like, guys, I got an idea.
And this movie was a hit.
Huge hit, I think.
It feels like it was. It feels like it was omnipresent when we were, like, when it came out when we were kids.
For sure.
And it feels like it had, like, a 3-year shelf life.
No, for sure. And I mean, I remember that Daryl is in it. Bastion. Multiple names.
I don't know.
Daryl. The actor Daryl from the movie Daryl, and then he was Bastion in
Never-Ending Story.
Never-Ending Story.
Okay.
And he was Wilford Brimley. Wilford Brimley was in it, of course, and Jessica Tandy and Don Amici.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what Jessica Tandy's real life husband, but that was
Hume Cronin.
Yeah. Is that who it is? Yeah. They were really married, right?
Yeah.
In real life. And then that one, I don't know that actress's name that played Wilford Brimley's wife, but she was kind of like,
I know who you're talking about.
She's like in everything for a second.
She had her day in the mid '80s.
Yeah,
I remember her.
It wasn't Maureen Stapleton, was it?
Oh,
yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the IMDb. Yeah,
it's kind of like that one lady that played, About Schmidt, the movie About Schmidt, the woman that played his
June
wife.
Squibb.
Yeah, she's in everything now, but. Maureen Stapleton as an old lady. I mean, like, I just remember her as an old lady. I'm assuming she had a career as a younger person, she did, too. Yeah. But I don't remember who, like, the romantic counterpart to Steve Guttenberg would be. Was it maybe Ali Sheedy? But that's not right.
I think it's Tawny Welch.
I know.
My guess, but I don't know who she is. I mean...
I know the name.
Familiar.
Calling her kind of like Ali Sheedy is close. Like,
yeah.
She's kind of an Ali Sheedy type, certainly.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit more sensual, perhaps.
Was Steve Guttenberg in Short Circuit?
Yes.
Oh,
That's where I'm
yes.
getting that. That's where I'm getting.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
because that's definitely Ali Sheedy. So that's where I'm getting that cross pollination there. Gutenberg effect.
Yeah.
The Gutenberg Ali Sheedy effect.
Mm-hmm.
My friend and I were talking the other day because I told him I was doing this, and he actually brought up kind of what you were talking about with like old people doing things they weren't supposed to be able to do. And I got really pissed off at him because I was like, shut up. I don't need, he's like, no, we're just having a conversation. I'm like, no, that's the whole point of this thing. Like, I don't want to be,
Right.
you know, I want to like have my mismemories be pure.
Yeah.
But he was reminding me of there being, breakdancing with Jessica Tandy,
God.
I believe. And when he said it, I was like, yep, I remember that part. I totally remember that part. Some urban types, and then she jumps on a piece of cardboard. And
it wouldn't be a movie
little
from
window.
1985 if someone
Exactly.
wasn't breakdancing.
Yeah, and very clearly like a wig person, you know, like, oh, that's just a really cheap gray wig on somebody who can breakdance.
It's similar to the terrible wig of Lori Loughlin's character in the movie Rad,
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
who needed to do BMX stunts.
Yeah.
Yes. Or have you ever seen that like cut from Casino where it's the car explosion where Robert De Niro gets into the car and like it shows the car and then there's a quick cut of right before the explosion and it's the worst mannequin just like, it's so funny. It really is. Like they don't slow it down at all. And you're just like, look at that. That's really bad. But so that's what I remember about Cocoon.
What do you think you were like at the age that you were taking Cocoon? Getting in the water with those pods.
What I would be like in the movie?
No. What you were like when you were watching this?
Oh, I was emotional. I know that I was always emotionally affected by movies when I was a kid, like far more than other kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember when like teachers would have in-service and stuff, like they would sometimes hand out like vouchers for all the kids in elementary school to go see Lassie. They would play like a matinee of Lassie, which they never did. Like they never had Lassie on, but it would be like this kind of special event. And I remember being like probably in 3rd or 4th grade and going with my friends' older brothers who were in high school and like crying. And they were just like, what the fuck, Peter? Like just beating me up. And then everyone was much harder than I was. But I do remember being I probably cried. I'm sure I cried at it.
Yeah.
I still do. I cried at it.
You have a soft spot, you would say, though, for Cocoon.
Like, do I hold a soft spot for it? I'll tell you this. When I watch it, there's a 85% chance I'll shed a tear.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
I'll tell you that. Yeah. Maybe better than 85%. But so, yeah. I don't like think back on it as a movie that like, oh, that movie sucked. I remember it as like as a movie that I really liked.
Right.
And enjoyed.
I feel the same way about it. I remember liking this movie.
Yeah.
What do you think about Cocoon appealed to young Peter?
Wow, you're gonna make me cry right now. I mean, I guess without getting into too much psychology, I had kind of a rough childhood. I mean, I was like an adopted fat kid and I was hyperactive. And I mean, I think there's some aspect of like there being a solution maybe, or like, you know, these people saved these people that were in a bad situation kind of. And maybe that was it. Maybe like they're just being, I don't know. I think that's probably part of it. Something there. I mean, I think that might be it. I don't know. I'll find out.
Yeah. Sure. Do you have any other memories about watching Cocoon? It could be like, you know, personal experiences or hanging out with a certain friend watching it or watching it with your parents or something like that. But is there anything that kind of sticks out to you?
I don't think so. It's interesting because I feel like I was actually kind of trying to think about that this morning, like what was going on, kind of. I mean, like, I know I saw it with somebody. You know, I really like focus in on movies when I watch them. Sure. Like, I sometimes will like lip the dialogue. Like, I'm one of those people that like watches people talk and my mouth goes, like saying what they're saying. And I think it would have been one of those experiences where I was really like emotional. What is that? There's a term for that, the trance-like state that the viewer is put in while watching film. And I know there's an actual term for that because I remember learning it in art school, and I can't remember what it was.
Recall what it is, yeah.
And it drives me nuts because it is such an interesting thing, the total transference of consciousness into a film and just projecting yourself into a film is that. But yeah, I mean, it was something that I think I paid really close attention to when I was watching it, and I really liked it. There's a lot of movies. Do you remember that movie Dad?
with Alan Amici and
Ted Danson?
And Ted Danson?
Yeah, that's right. Wasn't it Jack Lemmon?
Oh shit, maybe it is Jack Lemmon. Yeah.
Yeah. But I saw that when I was probably like
I probably just at that age thought
12.
that they were the same person.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw that in the theater by myself when I was like probably 12. Like just went like on a Tuesday night and saw Dad.
You just saw all the movies geared towards olds.
Yeah. And that was about like 3 generations of men from one family watching the old man deteriorate into Alzheimer's.
Sure. Real fun watch.
Perfect viewing for a 12-year-old. And I loved it. I remember just being like, oh my God.
What was it about all this old fare that really got its hooks in you?
I don't know. I mean, I've just always been a cinephile. Like I've always been like, I like anything. Like I'll watch. There's so few things that I truly like hate.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I was just talking, like I'm an apologist for like, I'll be, people will be like, that movie sucked. And I'll be like, that movie, there's all this stuff that was good. Yeah, none of that made sense. But this part was really good. I liked that movie. One of the things that I really hate, and it still pisses me off, is the end of Battlestar Galactica.
Sure, you should hate that.
So mad about that. I mean, I'm even an apologist for the last season of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
But I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
And lament, like, you fucked that up.
Yeah.
So fucking bad. I mean, HBO wanted to give those guys 3 more seasons to do that right. And they were just like, no. We'll just rush 3 seasons of nonsense into one thing and then make it bad. And it was like, God.
Kind of what happens when you produce source material that's still being written.
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing is that then they ruined it for George. I think part of the problem with George R.R. Martin is that now he's seen an ending, and it's really hard for him to come up with a genuine ending of his own that isn't.
Well, especially because it seems like he had input.
Yeah. Some.
In a weird way, it might be good. It might better the book.
Hopefully, if there is
if it ever comes out, yeah.
It's never gonna happen.
There's supposed to be 2 more books, right?
2 or 3. Because there were multiple seasons that had not been written.
Right.
He missed the boat on that. Yeah.
He really did. I mean, like, he should have been busting his ass.
He should have stopped going to award shows.
Yeah. And eating candy.
And eating turkey legs. Yeah.
Yeah. Out. And wine goblets.
More wine.
Yeah.
Well, when you get famous at like 70.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is like, this man is old and he's super fat.
It also took him a long time to write the fucking first books in the first place. Like,
I know. And his other books aren't good. Aces High or whatever they are, the sci-fi ones, they're like not interesting. But I do like House of the Dragon a lot. This is totally on topic with Cocoon.
Back to Cocoon, the important stuff.
This is what I do.
This film's kind of weird. So, do you feel like you gravitated towards any character in the film as your analog, or do you recall this?
I mean, it definitely would have been Bastion Daryl. I mean,
Gutenberg?
No, because I was little. I mean, I was a kid, and he was a kid, and it was about his relationship to his grandparents, right? So I think that was part of the thing, because I was really I loved my grandparents. And I mean,
did you watch this with them?
No, I didn't watch this with them
because their whole generation loved this movie. I believe
he had his movie buddy.
Yeah, my movie buddy. I can't remember watching any movie with those grandparents, but I do remember watching The Couch Trip with my other grandma, who was really she was like a proper old lady, and then there's this whole scene where Chevy Chase has this condom commercial and everybody in my family being like, and that was in the theater too. That was a good movie with Walter Matthau.
I haven't seen that either.
Really? The Couch Trip, I think, is actually worth watching. I think it's a good one.
So's Cocoon.
Definitely. Different.
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 So, what expectations do you have for your return to Cocoon?
Delight. No. Wonderment. I think I'll enjoy it. I'm hoping that there's a number of details about it that I forget. Because I can remember scenes, right? I can remember like, I do remember, like, there being a scene where Wilford Brimley is fishing with Daryl. I just keep calling him Daryl.
That's the right name.
Yeah. And they're I think they're standing in the water, like up to their hips, because it's in Florida. And that was weird to me because you don't stand in the water in Wisconsin lakes. You stand on the shore. And I thought that was really weird. And they're having a conversation. And I think he might be telling him that they're leaving and they're going to space and trying to explain that. And, like, there's details, and I want to be surprised. Like, that's what I want to be. Because I feel like I can remember some, as I've been thinking about it, like, key scenes. Mm. But I, like, don't remember Steve Guttenberg's role in it at all. I remember that he's a friend in the end, at least. He might be, like, an antagonist at the beginning, but he's a friend in the end, I believe. Okay. He helps them.
I mean, he wasn't doing a lot of heel turns in the 80s.
No.
He saved that for Veronica Mars.
That's true.
Which is why it was so effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true. The Goot was a good guy. I wonder where Gutenberg translates to. I mean, Guten has to be...
Guten Tag or...
Guten Tag, yeah. Gutenberg.
Guten Village, maybe?
Berg. Good Village, yeah. That could be. But it's something good.
We'll look into this. We'll have our researchers.
Yeah. Let's get the interns on this. Guys.
Yeah, they're already on
This is where we drop in Ryan Hansen at the end of that Party Down episode with Gutenberg, Steve Gutenberg's birthday party.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Drop in him saying, fucking hate Steve Gutenberg.
Fucking hate Steve Gutenberg.
Did you like the new season of Party Down?
Yeah, it's great.
I loved it. I thought it was really
fantastic.
Good. Yeah, I thought they did a really good job. Is there going to be another season of it?
I sure fucking hope so. But
because they left
probably
it
not.
in place.
So many people.
Yeah. It's good. It was good.
Yeah, it was great.
So yeah, those are my thoughts on Cocoon.
Right on. Well, I have very little recollection of this film. I mean, I know the like general vibe, but I haven't seen this since at least 1988 or so.
You would have missed the first wave of it too, because I saw it when it was...
Well, I was like 6 when it came out.
Right. So, I mean, like, my experience of it would have been a little different than your experience.
Sure.
When it was...
But I mean, I definitely saw it like very shortly after it came out.
Sure, I mean, like,
I didn't mean like then. Yeah. I mean, I definitely saw it a few times too.
Yeah,
which is weird. It's a weird movie for kids to be watching more than once, but I've definitely seen it more than once.
No, it is. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like there's like I said, like Dad and. There was another movie with William Hurt called The Doctor. Do you remember that one?
I remember the cover of it.
He was a doctor that got throat cancer and died.
William Hurt did?
Yeah, it was this idea of like the doctor becomes the patient and then he has to experience. And I saw that alone in the theater as well. And I was pretty young. Like,
you were a big Bill Hurt fan?
Yeah, I guess. He falls into the category of like Kenneth Branagh. And there's a number of actors like that I've always been like, nah, I don't like their flavor. I don't get them either. And William Hurt is one of those. Also, John Voight. I've never liked John Voight. John Voight is a bad taste.
John Voight
and
sucks.
Now he's a really bad taste.
Yeah, now he really sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never really gotten John Voight.
Yeah. I mean, like, Midnight Cowboy kind of sucks. Yeah. I'll be honest. I'm not really into it. I just don't like
I haven't seen
acting.
it since, like, 1996 or so.
Dustin Hoffman is great in it, but... Everything else is kind of like, whatever.
I don't think, for me, I don't think a viewing of Cocoon made it into the 90s.
I don't think so either. I think the shelf life really died in like 1989.
Like,
yeah.
Honestly, like I could see watching it in 89, but The moment 90 happened.
Yeah, like the
nope.
moment Field of Dreams comes out, just
Yep.
this movie's like gone. It's evaporated. And so
What would you call that? Because wasn't there kind of a wave of like ghost movies like that?
Kind of, yeah. But
Yeah,
I mean,
there
Field
was-
of Dreams is also speaking very specifically to like the generation that would have. It's speaking to the same generation that Cocoon
Sure.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, or that's like the kind of target audience. Like it's also like, oh, whatever, it's baseball fans, but it's definitely speaking to the persistent, like through the 80s, navel gazing toward the past. I don't know.
Do you feel like Field of Dreams was one of the first movies that had like, because there was like the real baseball field, and I don't feel like there was a movie before that had that kind of like
8 Men Out kind of
real-
did. It came out the year
real
before.
world crossover though, where there
Oh,
was like
right, yeah.
there's this prop or set that you could actually go to and like
Sure.
and be a part of, and I don't feel like there was other movies until then that had done that.
I don't know how quickly I don't remember when they actually opened the Field of Dreams that you could go visit. I don't think it was until like 1994.
It was.
Yeah.
I think it was with the movie.
I don't think so. I think
I think
came
it was
later.
after. I think.
Oh,
I
okay.
think because it remained so popular. I think it. I mean, Christ, John Mulaney just fucking talked about Field of Dreams for 3 minutes at the fucking Oscars.
Oh, he did?
Oh, you didn't see him present?
I
He
didn't see it,
presented
yeah.
an award and just got up there and talked about what the plot of Field of Dreams was and how insane it is.
Is Ray Liotta Shoeless Joe Jackson in that?
He was.
Isn't that who he
Yes.
is? Yeah. Oh, Ray
He
Liotta.
did not play baseball well.
No.
He was super nice the one day that I was on a shoot with him.
What did you work?
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace for sure.
Marriage Story. Yeah.
Was that the last thing he did?
He did Cocaine Bear.
Yes, he did Cocaine. That was what I was thinking because I knew I saw him in something else. He was in Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
he worked all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Jumbo's Clown Room last night
Okay.
because my girlfriend is the bartender there.
Yeah.
And one of the girls came over and was talking to my friend Miles and I don't remember what we were saying, but we brought up Nicolas Cage, and she was like, "Well, what are your feelings on Nicolas Cage?" And I was like, "I like him," and like we were both like thumbs up. And then she went, "I'm apathetic," and then she said, "I'm apathetic in a neutral way," and I was like, "What? What do you what?"
So you're
And
apathetic.
Yeah, so you mean you're apathetic? Like, what are you saying? And then I was like, I don't understand, because I explained to her, like, do you understand that Nicolas Cage lost all of his money, and then for like the last 25 years he's had to make every single movie anybody has presented to him? So you have like 10 kind of crappy, crazy movies, and then he'll have one that's like an Oscar-winning level performance, and then 10 more like nonsense, just and then now there's this like.
But he's not mailing those nonsense ones in.
No,
which
not
is
at
the
all.
crazy
No,
thing.
I mean, the thing is, he's not mailing them in, but the material isn't necessarily
so
good
far,
enough to like even. He's bringing everything he can to the material, but the material he can't even elevate to the point that now the movie is good.
Yeah.
But then there's the movies now where like, you know, he makes like, what was the movie with Pedro Pascal?
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah. So that's a good one, right?
Mhm.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. And then now there's Dream Scenario.
Dream
which
Scenario was
I
good.
haven't watched, but I know it's good. I'm going to watch it. But
Pig was great.
I didn't see that. I have to watch
Pig
that
was
too.
fantastic.
But there's becoming more and more good ones.
Yeah.
And then like you would qualify like Mandy, and then whatever that other like super dark crazy where he has to rescue his daughter from hell or something.
Is it
What's that?
Well, there's the color one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
Color
one I'm
Out of
thinking.
Shape. Yeah, that one's good.
Yeah, and so like even
Or
the
Color Out of
crazy
Space,
ones,
rather.
right? And now even the like crazy kind of like B ones
Mhm.
are
Or slightly
becoming,
better,
becoming really, because Mandy is amazing. Like Mandy's
Mandy's-
just like insane.
I've seen that like 8 times.
Yeah, it's very good. So
My Letterboxd profile is just 4 covers of Mandy.
Mandy,
Yeah, that's my film.
that's good.
Mhm.
But that girl didn't know that. And then I get mad.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
how can you have a strong opinion about something you don't know anything about?
And how can you not care about Nicolas Cage?
I know.
It doesn't seem like someone that you need to spend any more of your time with.
I know. That's what I felt like. And I just kept saying, hey, this is She's apathetic in a neutral way about Nicolas Cage. I was kind of being a dick.
Apathetic in a neutral way is a very LA expression, it seems.
It really is.
Let's just talk unnecessarily.
Right.
After we're very direct with the first 4 words or whatever.
Yeah. So I apologize to now for talk. I shouldn't have said her name. Bleep that out. But I apologize to her for teasing her.
I'll bleep it at least in the... It might not bleep on... I don't know how to bleep on...
I think we leave it in.
Video out.
Sorry.
I can do it on the podcast, but I don't know if I can figure out how to do it on for the YouTube, for the video.
Oh, okay. Because this only goes up on YouTube?
No, it goes up on everything.
Josh and I want that smoke, though.
Yeah. We want to incur wrath. So
I don't.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This is just Sean and me.
Yeah.
Peter has apologized.
I have apologized.
So we will be back next week to discuss Cocoon with all of us having... Sean, you've seen Cocoon before too, right?
Yeah. But it's been
no one's seen this movie since 1989 in the history of mankind.
I need to get gooted, guys.
Yeah, I can't wait to get gooted.
The other thing that we haven't talked at all about is that there's actually a sequel to this movie.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I don't think I've seen the sequel, but
no,
I wonder if the sequel killed the... Like, if it had just been a one-off, I bet Cocoon would still be in the zeitgeist to this day. But
I think I remember as much about the sequel as I do about the original.
That's crazy.
Because it could be called Cocoon 2, The Old's Return. That's what happens. But I don't remember why.
I mean, I think for our sake, we'll just hope that it
we'll just, yeah.
Hope we'll pretend that it didn't happen.
Right.
So this can remain pure. Anyway, thank you for joining us, Peter. I'll have your socials in all of the show notes.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to revisiting this next week.
We'll see ya.
See ya.
You've just listened to another installment of the Unkind Rewind podcast, mining and potentially ruining your childhood for content, one film at a time. Unkind Rewind is a Munchcast production and can be ingested wherever you listen to podcasts and on the Unkind Rewind YouTube channel. Music for this and every other episode of Unkind Rewind was composed by Divorcio Suave. Rate and review Unkind Rewind on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, Yelp, IMDb, Consumer Reports, Google Reviews, and TripAdvisor. Links to all of our social media accounts are in our show notes, but you'll find us as at Unkind Rewind Pod on nearly every social media platform that makes sense. If you had a question, concern, complaint, or positive feedback, you can email the podcast at unkindrewindpod@gmail.com, or you can join the lively Munchcast Discord to discuss this or any other episode of the Unkind Rewind with like-minded people. This dialogue with the pod may just make it into the next week's ep, so chat away. The Unkind Rewind Patreon will be coming soon, so start squirreling that pocket change away. Thank you for listening to another Unkind Rewind.